Okay, so today we're going to work on the lion's hair right here. I'm going to start by laying in my light yellow ochre. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the direction of the fur in this area is going all over the place. So since this is the base layer, I'm just going to lay it in. Oh, forgive me, my line drawing is underneath. I have to actually expose it. But I wanted to give you an idea of how I lay in and create my hair. And it's really very, very simple. It's you lay down a bunch of color and then you go in with the slice tool and you remove color and then you lay more color down and you just go back and forth like that until you get what looks like the semblance of hair. My reference photo is over here. I do not follow the reference photo when I'm drawing. I use it as a guide, but I do not follow every single hair. And then I'm just laying down, starting from my lightest color to my next lightest color, and I'm just mapping in my colors right now. And this is my base layer. And how far do I want to go with this at this point? Well, let's just take her all the way down into here. My equipment is not the best. My desk is sitting on carpet, and so the legs aren't 100% sturdy. They wobble, is what I'm trying to say. So I apologize if my camera is wobbling. But even when I'm laying down my base layers, I try to follow the direction of the fur. A lot of people don't. That's fine. I do. Okay, so this is coming down like this. So we'll go ahead and bring this one in too. I really need to figure out a better setup here so that I'm not dealing with the jerking and the jumping of my camera angle. Oh man, that is really wobbling, isn't it? Because I had to change how my boom was working. Okay, so there's my first layer with my light yellow ochre. And now I'm going to go in. Let's go in with a little bit of a terracotta. So right up in here. We got a little bit of a darker area right up in here. And right here. Boy, this boom is really shaking. My whole desk is shaking. How can I stop this? Let's put my foot on the leg maybe. Stop some of this shaking. Nope, it's still shaking. I apologize. So yeah, I'm just trying to create the depth, laying in my different colors, trying to create some interest with where the hairs change direction, because the mane is all over the place. And right in here, I believe this is the ear. Just not sure. Now I want to come in with some little bit of burnt ochre. Okay, so now I'm just layering up the colors again. Just trying to create some interest. Trying to create variation. And not really following the reference photo. We're trying to get a semblance of hair by layering in the tufts. And pretty much at this point I'm just kind of scribbling. I see a little bit of color here. I pick it up. But before you start using your slice tool, you do have to have enough color down that you're able to then use your tool. And here I'm trying to make a gradation where it goes into this curve. So it's lighter on this side, it's darker in the hair, and then it comes lighter back as it comes back up and out. That's kind of interesting. So now it kind of goes, oh my goodness, it kind of goes up and all over the place. Hi, Malls. What's up with you? See, you just start laying in your fur. And you want it the length of the fur, and you want the direction it's going. Perhaps? Perhaps you can see what I'm doing? Okay, so this hair goes this way. What's going on up in here is just a bunch of squiggles. So really, I'm just squiggling. I'm going to take my brush it away. Let's see, because the lion's hair is really curly and kinky, I'm making all these weird little kinky lines. And you just keep on doing that over and over and over again. And then you just go to town. I don't know if you can even see this, but it will make sense as I lay more colors down. They'll come out more and more, and you'll see them more and more and more. Because yeah, this hair is just everywhere. Sorry guys. My best laid plans for giving you a decent recording of how I create my hairs is not working out well. But can you see how that's starting to show up? Where you can see this hair that I laid in. And it needs a lot more, obviously. A lot more. I also find when I haven't done it for a while, it takes me a while to get into the swing of things. Stripes on his head. Man, I apologize. This camera is really, really shaking. I'm going to have to figure out something else for sure. Okay, so that really looks retarded, but let's see what we can do about it. So yeah, this is a slice tool, pin cutter tool, if I didn't already tell you that. Oh, is it dinner time? It's dinner time for the kids. Dinner time for the animals. Hubby's taking care of them today while I bring my recording to you. Okay, so and see, then as you get these areas scratched in, you come in with your darker color and kind of pick out spots. Pick out areas that you want to increase the depth and add more interest. And then I'm going to stick in some red violet up in here.
Mm-hmm. Good boy. All the way. Good boy. Steady.
So you just add little touches of color here and there to kind of create a little more depth around some of your little fluff balls. Here on the top by his ear, and like I said, this right in here is the ear. It comes up into the yellow ochre type coloring. Now I have to be really careful to not get this line where I've drawn my image across 4 pieces of paper. I had to tape my paper together so that it was could be the size of this sheet. And of course I was short, so I'm going to have to be really, really careful with that so that I don't get that line pattern in my work here. I think I'm blocking you from seeing what I'm doing here. Trying to let you see what I'm doing. Right now I'm just squiggles. Squiggle wiggles. And we've got some hairs that are doing something kind of like that. Just got hairs all over the place. So if I try to, I can see kind of a shape. So if I try to follow the shape on the underside and then bring in what I'm doing around it, that might make a little more sense. Enough people have asked me how I draw hair that I'm now trying to do it logically so that I can kind of help you how I draw it so that you can see what I'm doing. But really it's just a lot of going to town with the slice tool. Don't be afraid. I'm drawing on Graphix drafting film, and it can sure take a beating. And then see, I start picking out some of the details now where I have a little bit of a tuft there, so I'm pulling it out. And see, as you build up your layers, you end up kind of, pretty much the drawing draws itself. That's what I like to say. See, as you build up your layers, you end up with these little tufts and how they work. Alright, I'm going to go in with my Van Dyke Brown right in here, and I'm going to just pop that, make that a little bit deeper, darker. Actually, I'm going to come in with my indigo blue because I want to make this more of an in-depth hole there. So my indigo blue, then I'm going to come in with my violet a little bit. I'm going to pop in a little more orange. And then I'm going to scrape out some. So see how that worked? I made a little bit darker right there, and then I brought in a highlight over the top of the darkness. Kind of a tuft that goes up in here. So, and then we, looks like we're going to end up with a little poof right here because that's kind of how it's drawing itself. So I'll go ahead and put it in. Not sure I like that. Not so sure I like that, the way that did that, so I'm going to pull her out. Add more hairs. Yeah, I didn't like, that's better. I like that better, but I definitely didn't like what it was doing there. The more you slice, the more depth you get, the more interest you create with the more colors. Sorry, I'm kind of concentrating on what I'm doing here. Called scribbling with my slice. Pop a little Naples on here. Just here and there, where the sun might be catching. It's kind of going down like that. We're just pulling in another tuft of hair, perhaps. What I'm trying to do is just do a little more of these little tufts that are in this hair by bringing in more darks to highlight the highlighted areas. And right now I'm using burr number. But I use burr number and terracotta, yellow ochre, Naples yellow. There are so many different colors in here. I'm trying not to create mud. I'm trying to create interest. Let's see how this little tuft here is just like really just popping off the top of his head. So I try to create that illusion by doing different contouring around the hair. And I create little darker areas that pop off parts of it. It's just all about the illusion. How can you create the illusion? Boy, does that look like hair or bulging muscles. Yeah, maybe. Let's put some. Oops. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to put a white paper in between so that I can tell what I'm doing. I don't think this is going to record well. Perhaps. Perhaps. Oh, what do you think? Do I still look like lion's hair? Or does it look like I just went and really messed everything up? Yeah. Well, I do know I need to merge this guy into this guy. Now the interesting part is I actually can see it on the camera too. I'm getting a line right here and I don't know why. There is kind of a line there, but not really. So that's kind of interesting. And we'll have to see what we can do about that. Yeah, there's definitely, I'm seeing a line here, so I've created some sort of a line. Parted his hair. Oh, lordies. That's probably not a good thing. Alright, I gotta turn it. Cannot do it that direction. Okay, so where that line is, there should be a lot more hair coming across. I think that was just from merging the two sides. 2 different days of doing it. I get into a flow, and then I have to stop. So 1, 2, this is probably the, right in here is probably my third, so. What I'm doing here is right on the reference photo I see that there's a tuft that's sticking up like that. Right where I was trying to make a line. So I'm going to put in this tuft to get rid of that line. I am not happy with that. Yeah, it's a little bit better, I guess. The soup's hot, so I guess dinner is ready and I better go eat or I'll get in trouble. So, until next time. But that's how I draw hair, so, and I've got a long ways to go before this is actually called hair. But hopefully that answered some of your questions on how I'm doing this mane. And until next time, talk to you later. Keep drawing.